I was never going to be a men's physique.
Didn't have much of an off season.
I like his physique better.
I'm always very energetic. I will have to put me as one of the greatest.
Mr. Olympia was won by the back.
So the first thing I want to ask you today, what is the best way to boost your testosterone naturally? Specifically naturally, without the use of anything at all.
Yeah, so first of all, we have to know that being fat, obese, overweight means that you create a lot of estrogens that are coming from the visceral or mental fat that is hidden within the abdominal cavity. Now, estrogens are a negative feedback for the brain in order to release testosterone. So by lowering body fat and actually dropping in body weight, but of course, preserving muscle and losing fat will give a positive feedback for the brain, hypothalamus and hypophysis, in order to get the so-called gonadotropin releasing hormone and then luteinizing hormone and testosterone. So being leaner will lead you to have higher natural testosterone levels, okay? Of course, lifestyle plays a role. So you have to sleep before midnight. So from 11 to 7 is the best time for recuperation, recovery, for GH release into the REM sleep, and perform high intensity cardio. So instead of prolonged cardio, you have to do HIIT, and also do resistance training with lactate production. So, 8 to 12 reps, but high intensity. Do not overdo it with weights, because if you go further than 45 minutes, you're going to produce cortisol that will lower testosterone. So short and intense workouts. Eat plenty of red meat that contains zinc, that helps with natural testosterone production. Avoid booze and alcohol, because ethanol aromatizes in the liver, and we know that alcoholics have gynecomastia. And also avoid some medications like opiates, SSRIs, marijuana also. Yes, these are some classic drugs to avoid.
Understood. Now, what other nutrients do you think are good? What other foods are good for nutrients and foods are good for testosterone?
You need, of course, egg yolk, because you need cholesterol in order to synthesize testosterone. Mm-hmm. Now, testosterone is a steroid molecule that it all begins from the steroid molecule of cholesterol. So lowering too much of cholesterol with statins or with diet is not a good idea in order to have elevated natural testosterone levels. So you need to eat nutritious foods like egg yolks and red meat, and not necessarily, some butter or some trans fat, in order to have enough cholesterol levels to synthesize testosterone and the rest of steroid molecules. Also, this goes for women. If women lower too much their cholesterol and their body fat levels, they stop their menstrual cycle.
Interesting. Are processed food bad for testosterone?
Yes, they are. They are. Processed foods, yes, we avoid them. And processed foods, there are those snacks that contain tons of salt, sugar also, preservatives, so they're not the organic fresh foods.
What are the warning signs of a man, for a man, that showing that he might be losing, the lower level, that he's getting lower levels of testosterone? What are the warning signs?
So this refers to andropause and to aging. So it's erectile dysfunction and mainly loss of sex drive and libido. And we have to clarify between these two. Erectile dysfunction is not having a hard-on, basically, but loss of libido is the urge to have sex, the intercourse. Then we have muscle wasting or cachexia, Then we have visceral fat or mental fat accumulation. You look flabby, fatigue, foggy mind, and morning depression, And the overall less cognitive function, and the overall feeling that we age, we're getting older, we don't have a good mood, we don't feel energetic. That goes after 40, so we decline and we age because our hormones go downhill.
What's morning depression? When people wake up in the morning and they don't feel happy about waking up?
Yeah, they don't have sharp mind and cognitive function, and this is due to the lack of DHT and the lack of androgens. So by taking synthetic DHT like Proviron, for instance, we have more sharp mind, better cognitive function, taking decisions. Also, Testosterone improves serotonin and dopamine levels. They are neurotransmitters. Serotonin is the joy hormone, and dopamine is the reward hormone. So we feel better by taking testosterone. We feel man, okay? We reverse aging.
Have you ever seen cases of, you mentioned after 40, but have you seen cases where people start having low T, when they're late 20s or 30s?
Yes, there are some cases, rare cases, but some people had trauma in their hypophysis in their brain. Others had Klinefelter syndrome. Some other boys have a kick in the testicles down, an accident, and they no longer produce testosterone. So there are some rare cases that, unfortunately, they have to follow TRT for the rest of their lives.